hunt.
Prepare for the landing and prepare to be vaguely abused by their sad and underslept in their royal blues. Back in the window, 'cause I wanna know what it'd feel like if I got to go outside.
What do you want to clap?
Damn, the website just skipped. All right.
What do you? It's a clock.
It went from 38 to 41.
Oh, yeah, it's bad.
All right, 55. I didn't even get 55. It went from 54 to 56, and now 58.
I got 55, and my clap was fucking exceptional.
I believe it. If there's one thing we all know about you, it's you're an exceptional clapper.
I mean, it was a good one.
Good. I'm proud of you.
Are we making use of it?
Yeah, why not? That'll be because everything before the clap was trash, so we're throwing it out. So that'll be the beginning of the episode. Well, not everything before the clap. To the listeners, before the clap, they heard the song Ohio Turnpike TPKE by that's right, everybody, Jeff Rosenstock, off of his album No Dream. Licensed under Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial Share Like 3.0 States License, United States License. God, I fuck it up every time. Good thing this is the last time.
It's like the definition of legalese.
Yeah, it is. It's nonsense. And apparently there's the Creative Commons 4.0 license gives you more freedom, because I did click the button. But here we are. How's it going, man?
It's going. I was thinking a little bit about this episode coming up, and the fact that while we have a couple more recordings, this is it.
This is we want to hit the Mortal Kombat music album, but that is so tangentially Mortal Kombat related.
Like
it
this
basically doesn't
is
count,
it,
right?
because like that's nothing.
No,
like
it's not a narrative journey through the gods and the mortals and the furies.
Right. Like this will be the last thing until they decide to make something else, which we know is coming.
Right.
Like, it's worth acknowledging that. But I mean, you know, this show started when? September 2020?
Something like that, yeah.
It is 2024. And despite a handful of absences, unintended sort of sidesteps and whatnot, it's happening now. Like, we are at the point where the next reasonable step we can take is, you know, do it again. Right?
But we're not announcing that we're doing it again, folks.
I know.
Be clear. We're not gonna. People, our friends. I'd say our friends. I don't even think our listeners are saying this, but our friends are saying this. Like, hey, just do Conquest again. Why not? We can't, right? We can't.
Yeah.
We have to keep telling each other that we can't, so that we don't. I mean, we could.
If you heard me typing, I definitely wasn't typing something unrelated to the podcast. I was typing something that was along the lines of what happens to your brain if you watch Mortal Kombat Conquest 3 times and do a podcast about it every time.
I think you ascend
to
godhood, I would assume.
Maybe. I mean, it's something that the show and the series more than the show. It's something that the franchise is sort of preoccupied with.
Yeah. Maybe if we watch it a third time and do a podcast on it, we'll stop aging.
It's entirely possible. We can't really rule that out. But
I don't know. I've been stuck this way forever, though. Honestly,
I've just been thinking about. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know if I want that either.
I feel like, here's me just being a little candid. I feel like I've seen my dad, right? So I feel like I've maybe got a little bit of Silver Fox energy in me. I just want to.
Oh, right. Like your trajectory might be like, this is the up part. Like,
I think so. Not in all ways, but in like the right ways, if that makes sense.
In some cool ways.
You know, the hair will continue to recede, but it won't matter.
Dude, right? If we're getting candid, I'll tell you what, the family hairline that it appears I got, because I had a real 50-50, it was going to be sick, it was going to be bad.
Okay.
It's holding on, which is good.
Nice.
And my current hairstyle does a good job of not really drawing attention to it. But, like, is the clock ticking in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely it is.
This podcast sponsored by Hims.
This podcast is sponsored by Joe Rogaine.
Get your hair and your boners fixed with one
Does
web
Hims
form.
do dick stuff?
Yeah, they do. I think they do.
Interesting.
I think they do. I don't know, man.
They probably. I mean, do they probably? Like,
Sorry.
yeah,
Does Hims do dick stuff?
yeah. I mean,
Get your anti-anxiety medication, get your hair fixed, and get your dick working again.
get your dick blasted, get your brain blasted, get your hair blasted.
Use offer code Ramoth for
Get
20%
offer code
off.
blasted. Offer code Rathway or whatever the fuck we've decided to say that as.
Ruthe?
Ruthe, I couldn't remember. I read this book yesterday and I couldn't remember that little nightmare man's name.
He's that little guy's been in all three of like the sections we read, and
That's
every
correct.
single time,
Absolutely, yeah.
single time, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that fucking idiot.
There's a little dude here.
Honestly, feels like what is it? Say it again. Sorry.
Ruthe.
Ruthe-
Ruthay.
Ruthe feels like a creation of Defenders of the Realm. Like
Look,
that
okay.
should have been put a little guy in a cartoon.
We gotta do this. This is the perfect segue because we brought up Defenders of the Realm, and I brought up Ramoth as a fake promo code. We made a mistake, Corey.
Oh,
Listen, the mistake. Hey, that was also a mistake. Is forgivable on your end when you mentioned the voice actor for Ramoth on. They made another one, I think, on the Alligator 2 episode.
that is correct. The mutation.
Yeah. And you thought you claimed Ramoth was the Birdman, right?
I did. Was that wrong?
And you called him Ratham, and I was like, hey, that's close enough. And that's
Yeah,
what we
Ratham,
talked about on the last episode.
Is Ramoth not the bird guy?
Asgarth is the Birdman.
Asgarth is the Birdman.
Ramoth
one's him?
is of even less consequence. Ramoth was Princess Katana's dad's friend from the Zara episode.
Fuck.
Yeah, we just got from the Swords of Ilkan episode. We just got to get out in front of that.
I mean,
that
I definitely am some level of self-conscious about how much of this stuff I'm able to internalize.
Yeah, don't be.
No. Not like in that like, oh no, the real fans are gonna make fun of me way.
No.
But like simultaneously, I've forgotten a lot of it. Mostly the stuff I didn't care about. But Neil, I've remembered so much of it.
Right.
Also, like,
right. It happens.
particularly I think with Conquest, but that had the benefit of repetition.
Yes.
But like, I feel like I can pull threads that no one could ever possibly care about. Like, it's just
That's
of a unique
our gift and our
burden.
curse.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. I've been thinking about it a bit because I mean, obviously, like nobody's dying. We're not going anywhere. But like, we have been talking about this book for so long without actually talking about this book.
Yeah.
And now we're going to be done talking about this book. And we have to face the reality that this book is what this book is.
Right.
And it's just sort of like this weird culmination point of like, fucking, okay. Like, I feel like I honestly believe, and this is an impromptu post-mortem I'm running on my own thoughts and feelings. I think the appropriate reaction to a majority of what we've analyzed is fucking okay. And I find that interesting because I don't think that reaction is born of like a disinterest. Like, I don't not care. Like, I'm not saying that because I think it's all shitty or anything, but like, it has been such an exercise in like 1 degree of remixing every step down the line that you have no choice if you have like the foundation and then the pivot to just sort of go, okay, you guys did it that way. And it's like, it's been this really weird thing to think about of just being like, oh, all right, cool, good talk.
Even though again, it was written before Conquest, because it had that first third focusing on Kung Lao, to us in our experience, it feels even just like a pivot of what happened in that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a different version of what happened to the great Kung Lao like years and years ago. But like, I'll say it, a lot of junk in this franchise, as was how things worked in the 90s, you know?
Astronomical levels of junk. I actually think that one realization that I have kind of had over this process is wishing that some of the stuff that we did that was so tangential as to not be Mortal Kombat was licensed.
Okay, like Pacific Blue?
Maybe not Pacific Blue, though that would be fun. But I think
It was just Stryker on a bike
yeah,
instead.
maybe
right?
that's funnier than the thing I was going to say. But I think that like WMAC Masters,
right?
just being just license it. Just call it Mortal Kombat. And I would be amped up.
Well, again, remember how upset I was to discover that there was early plans to try to develop not Defenders of the Realm, Federation of Martial Arts into a WMAC Masters alike television series.
Also, I'm going to say something controversial, maybe, now that I've had time to think about it. I think Federation of Martial Arts, as obviously bad as it is, obviously,
right.
Nobody's denying that, is the most compelling thing by a long shot in a lot of ways. Not all of them.
Right.
But like when you read this book, for example, and you're just sort of like, yes, it's like, what if Mortal Kombat was weird?
Mm-hmm.
You know? But Federation of Martial Arts is that to such an extent.
Yeah.
Like, but also it is the most...
It's fucking Jimmy Cage.
It's Jimmy Cage, but they all live in the computer. Like, it's the Jimmy Cage stock market run by AI. Like, it's
early
insane.
NFTs, right?
Like, if you did it now, I think it would be a big deal. But also in like all the worst ways. Like, it would be generative garbage. But the fact that they went through the effort of being like, we have a cast of human people that are making 90-second blue screen fight scenes that we upload to a website that barely runs, and you can vote on the winner. And also a narrative is happening. Like, the fact that the biggest swing came from the jankiest thing
I know.
is like really interesting.
Yeah, that was just... Fun episode. If you guys haven't heard that, go find our Federation of Martial Arts.
The Federation of Martial
episode.
Arts / WMAC Masters realm feels like the biggest what if of this entire exercise.
Yeah, man.
Short of Conquest Season 2.
Right. God, if only.
Which is my way of circling back to, unless you wanted to pick that up, was going to be my way to circling back to, I don't think this book is a big what if.
No, it's not. And, you know, we were talking earlier, like, how this is it, right? This isn't just it in terms of narrative Mortal Kombat things we're talking about on the show. Again,
this is the last thing we set out to do.
With the qualification of like, when Mortal Kombat 2 comes out, we're going to have to do it when a new animated feature comes out, which I think it's been announced or it's rumored. I'm not sure. If that ever happens, we're going to have to do that. That's just, you know, that's our burden, right? We're going to have to. But this isn't just like the last thing that we're covering. This is also, it's the last thing. Well, I'm mixing that up. I'm saying that weird. My point is, we're done with the Mortal Kombat boom as of this book, right? We've done TV series, cartoon series, films, all of 90s comics, a whole bunch of, like, the 90s were just full of this stuff.
Right.
Both movies, the cartoon show, the live action show, and it's all, this is it. Like, there's just no more classic Mortal Kombat stuff to explore anymore. Anything we do,
floor.
Right? And again, yes, we're gonna talk the More Kombat album. Again, folks, it's an album. All right. There's a few songs with Mortal Kombat sound effects in it, and then there's just songs that were already featured that we already talked about in our Defenders of the Realm pilot episode. So like, not breaking new ground there, you know. But in terms of like Mortal Kombat story, like classic Mortal Kombat story stuff, this is it. We've exhausted it all. Everything else that's come out is going to be modern, right? Everything else we cover is going to be something new. And we're still going to be, I'm sure, making comparisons to the old stuff when we cover those things. Right?
Well, we're like legally obligated. We're part of the problem now, where we're going to be like, the back in my day, blah, 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 they used to have fucking Jeffrey Meek was there. I don't know like what hill we're going to die on in particular, but...
remember when Smoke and Jade appeared on that airplane in the Raiden and Kano series, I think. I don't know if that was the one.
Do you guys remember that part where they were in like a weapons manufacturing facility and it was color graded to be piss yellow and like and like a guy in a robot suit was there?
The other thing,
I don't think it was quite piss yellow. I think it was more just like fluorescent lights, but it was funnier to say it that way.
Are you talking about Mortal Kombat Legacy?
That is absolutely correct. Yeah.
The thing with the least impact on both of us,
yeah,
out of all of these things.
But can I reference it? Yes.
Yeah.
And that's my problem.
That's the other thing. When I was writing that Seasons Beatings 2 Multiverse of Badness, I had to remember to insert something from Mortal Kombat Legacy, which is why I threw that Sub-Zero in, because I was like, oh yeah, that was a big thing that we spent a lot of time on this show. That's basically just evaporated from my mind.
Yeah, I think the thing that I take comfort in is knowing that some of this will continue to evaporate from my mind. But the stuff that I'm going to remember is good or fascinating at the very least.
What a odd trajectory for this franchise. We look at, again, 1990s. 95 on, right? Or 94 on, I guess. Games aside. Okay. Comic book series, cartoon series, 2 films, live action TV series, Federation of Martial Arts. I think that hit in 99, right? That still counts, Just novels, like movie tie-in novels, this novel that we're discussing now. And then you get into 2006 or whenever, and it's the whole thing's been downgraded to web series. All right. Now, pretty well made web series. Let's be clear. We all know my feelings on Casper Van Dien as Johnny Cage, but we're not deriding it, but it's just that that era of web series was either fan made reboot that was not funded, or a place where a studio spent a small amount of money to either reboot a franchise or essentially kill it. And Mortal Kombat was the biggest thing on earth, it felt like, and then it was there, and now it's sort of somewhere in the middle by the time that we got to it. Yeah. Now the focus seems to have returned to the games. I mean, now they are pumping out animated features left and right, and
arguably
too many features, and some of them are, varying quality on those, but it's happening, right? So, there was those dark ages, weren't there? There's just nothing for us.
And all along the way, we had the big 4. I was going to say the big 3 because that would be the Jesus reference to make, but there's nobody I'm willing to leave out of the big 4. So,
all right. What are the big 4?
It's just Conquest's main cast.
Okay. The core 4.
They were there the whole way.
The combat crew. Ciro Taja,
my best friends in my life.
Great Kung Lao. Is Raiden the 4th?
Yeah,
I'll accept that.
I mean, I think because you have to make the delineation between the good guys and the bad guys,
right?
Whereas I'm not saying that obviously the fiction's greatest character, Vorpax and Shang Tsung, don't deserve to be there, but
yeah, fiction's greatest character, Vorpax. Did I show you?
I will go to r/never before said sentences or whatever the website is.
I don't know if it's my Twitter banner or my Blue Sky banner, but I remember sending you the picture of when I was playing one of the Forza games, and I customized my license plate to VORPAXX.
You did do that.
Yeah.
Well, I can find out if it's your Twitter one. It's not your Twitter one.
Is my Twitter one still Brandon telling me I'm a man of culture? Hell yeah.
That's correct. I do have Blue Sky. Have not opened it basically since I created the account, so I don't know. I don't know what anybody's header is on Blue Sky.
I keep forgetting I have it. Follow me at Final Neil on those places.
I would just rather literally destroy my own brain than remember that I have a less toxic website to use than Twitter.
Should we do this? Should we jump into this? The part 3 of the Mortal Kombat novel written by tabloid journalist and alleged Clinton media fixer Jeff Rovin.
Psychotic tabloid journalist and good personal friend Jeff Rovin.
What's so funny, I'm not going to remember I remember the vague area of this, but I think it's towards the end. Somebody is talking about the society these days. It's just television and
Oh yeah, it
commercials
felt
and stuff.
really, really pointed. You know what was weirdest about that?
What's
I
that?
believe that conversation is between Sonya and Liu Kang,
I think so. Yeah, I think it is.
and it's like the two like young cool people are like, everybody's too busy listening to the radio instead of priests.
Yeah, kids.
Which is like
should've-
weirdly though is like strikes me as like an anti-Rush Limbaugh position, which is audacious given who Jeff Rovin is.
right, and who he would at least become. Like, but I'm a little bit shocked that he wasn't like TV's rotting everyone's brains and the newspapers lie to you. Kids need to read more books. Liu Kang winks
Kids need to
no
read
one.
more Tom Clancy's Ops Center.
Come on, Sonia. Let's go back to Tom Clancy's Ops Center for our next mission.
Like Tom Clancy's like the title sponsor of the Ops Center. Like he made a donation to the university that runs the Ops Center, so now it's named
God.
after Tom Clancy.
I hate that we're on the part 3 of this and I can't refer to this book as Tom Clancy's Mortal Kombat now.
Why can't we do that?
We have to start now, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
it's never too late. That's what Tom Clancy would say.
Sure.
Bro has been writing books 6 feet under since like the 1880s. Like
I feel like Tom Clancy video games really stepped in when Mortal Kombat sort of dropped the ball there for a few years.
yeah, we got what when you think Tom Clancy video games, which one do you think of?
Honestly, I think of Rainbow Six, which I think was the first one and was a game I was obsessed with. I had to have it. It ran so slowly on my computer, it was insane. But like the original Rainbow Six, but that was the one. And then Splinter Cell, of course.
I was not a Splinter Cell person, but the game that I think of very specifically is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas for the Xbox 360.
Sure, yeah, I think that's a lot of people's touchstone.
In hindsight, the most absolutely bonkers, like, I'm loath to say the word like propagandistic because it's loaded, but it's the most like, do you want to live out your dream of being the good guy with a gun?
Yeah, well,
Like,
I mean that's
it's that the video game.
that's Rainbow Six, OG Rainbow Six as well. It's like
At least in the games, they're trained. Like
I liked Thief. That wasn't a Tom Clancy game. I really loved the
Tom
the
Clancy's
Thief games.
Thief. Now, one quick
I was like,
question.
I have to balance my morality here. I think I'm going to play as a thief. And I was like, you know what? Actually, Garrett knows what's up.
I do have
Right.
a quick question
Eat the rich.
before we get into the book, and then we should get into the book.
It's only been 25 minutes, but sure.
Tom Clancy's Mortal Kombat U.S. Special Forces. Like,
I'm okay.
I feel like if anything, they've just missed a lot of good licensing opportunities.
I'm so fucking mad that this book is like, oh, Liu Kang's a special forces guy now. It's
The book. It's weird that the book does that, but of course Jeff Rovin would do that.
yeah.
I don't like it, but
I mean, yes, I do appreciate that he didn't make both of the leading Asian heroes just like spiritual monks and priests, right? Which he could have done. Like I'm glad that he went a different route, just to kind of, branch out and sort of avoid stereotyping. And like the man, well, look, we'll say it now because I'll forget by the end of the book. He makes a reference in this to Sammo Hung. Right?
oh my god, I made a joke about that 2 episodes ago.
Yes, you did.
And then he does it in the book for real.
So and
And he spells
Sammo
it
Hung,
weird for no reason.
Sammo Hung, Jet Li, Jackie Chan, and
Motherfucker,
perhaps
it's a town called, like, the way it's spelled, it would be like Jackie Chan.
right.
It's horrible.
And then perhaps a reference to Choi Hark, although he changed the last name and I think just one slipped through, so that could have just been a spelling error. I think it's still a reference given his Sammo Hung
I
spelling.
will say,
right?
at the rate that we are going with all of this naming convention stuff, I think that we are lucky, rather, that Liu Kang didn't turn into Luke Ang.
Luke Ang.
This like
He
big
did.
corn-fed American white guy.
He does get called Lin Kang at one point. There's a little typo that slipped through. And again, the N is nowhere near the U on the keyboard.
Are you telling me that they didn't closely copy edit this book?
Yes, I am.
Wow.
But anyway, my point is, like, the guy's clearly a fan of, Asian cinema, right? With these different references.
Or has at least heard of some guys.
But he just kind of turned, and my point is, it's still a trope, it's still Jackie Chan and Super Cop, right?
Yeah.
Or Operation Condor or whatever. Like, he just makes him like the martial arts secret agent guy. I don't know. It's a weird choice, I guess. It's not unexpected, but I don't like it because I don't give a fuck about special forces shit. Like, I just don't care. I don't care, man.
If anything, I'm impressed with Jeff Rovin's restraint to not have done more of that. And he does a lot of it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, he goes out of his way to spend a ton of time of, like, tactical guys walking up a hill.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. There's a lot of fucking... Yeah, man. God. I don't know. I think we should start tearing through this thing.
Do you want to go to the Neil corner?
Yeah. Welcome to the Neil corner. It's a can open.
No caffeine.
Right. No, I'm drinking coffee now.
No caffeine. Not a drop to drink.
It's starting to hit.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nightmare. Yeah.
The other day, really quick on caffeine before we start the book. I know we just said we would start with it. I took NyQuil the other day, like the liquid caps form. And I don't know when this happened in my life, but I am now at an age where if I take that one normal man's dose of NyQuil, like my whole next entire day was fucked.
Yeah, man.
Like, I was in the hole big time. And it was not like that before. I do not know what happened.
Now, did you take this because you weren't feeling well, or did you take it as just like couldn't sleep as a sleep aid thing?
I took it because I was feeling a bit under the weather, but holy shit, did it ever make me fucking sleep.
Yeah, it does. So what I do, well, if I'm sick, I'm fucking taking it because I'm like, I don't care. Right. But like, sometimes you got to take it as a little sleep aid, and that's maybe not the best thing for it, but like, I'll just take one.
I think that is the lesson learned because, I mean, typically I'd been fine with it, taking it like the normal amount, but like I spent so much of the next day, like just like lazing around, incapable of getting the ball rolling to do anything. Like, which is, I think, the state that Jeff Rovin may have written the latter third of this book in.
Dude just like popped like 7 NyQuil with like and just a handle of vodka and was like, let's fucking go.
Dude was like lean sipping with some Xanax and was like, I'm going to enter a comatose state.
I got to get in my flow state and just let the gods guide the rest of this novel. And that's why we ended up with so many spelling errors in this thing.
And, well, you'll see.
Yeah.
Small number of things happening, I guess.
Let's start talking about this. Guys, if you're still listening 30-something minutes into this podcast.
Look, if you listen to this podcast in 2024 at all, you're still listening. Let's not be confused about this.
You guys know. You know what we're about. You know what we do on this show. This is what we're always going to do this on any show we do. That's just the bottom line. Sorry. I'm thinking about, again, off topic, on Crew Expendable, we put the episodes up on YouTube, and we did an episode on a 2-issue comic book series called Newt's Tale, right? Which kind of explores like stuff that happened in the movie Aliens before the movie Aliens, right? But also things that were cut from the movie, right? And Kenny and I go off for like so long at the beginning of the episode. Someone came along to the YouTube version like
commented
a year after the episode
of when
dropped
to start
and
listening.
Commented the topic starts at 29 minutes or something like that.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah. So somebody to go do that for our podcast. I don't know. Once they're all up on YouTube. Once you hear this, go back and do that for all of them. Yeah, on YouTube. I'm moving us to a different... Look, YouTube is dead. It's all about YouTube now.
Long live YouTube. So now, actually, I know I threw to you for the Neil corner, which was my funny way of saying I don't want to do the plot description of this. But I'm realizing that there is also kind of a 1-sentence plot description you can give.
All right, let's hear it.
Everybody agrees to participate in the next Mortal Kombat tournament.
Yeah. That's a big detail, guys.
But
This book
that
called
is
Mortal Kombat.
also arguably the only meaningful development of the final 100 pages of the book. Like,
Absolutely.
Does other stuff happen? Yes.
Oh yeah, a bunch of shit happens.
Does any of it matter at all?
No.
No.
Because guess what?
Because it has
turns
to
out-
end at a point that you understand.
And we should have realized this 2/3 into the book, but it turns out that this novel is a prequel to the first video game, everybody. It is not the story of, it does not include a tournament at all.
Which is
confusing.
confusing.
I know. I mean, yes, it does. Like we heard about early Great Kung Lao Mortal Kombat tournaments, but no modern tournament in this at all. Just the setup for the next one, for the game. Just the establishment of the relationships between all of the characters. Makes sense now. Another thing, Johnny Cage not in this book at all. Makes sense that he wasn't involved in these events, since his backstory is, I just showed up to what I thought was a normal martial arts tournament, and it turns out it's not, right? But we get this. It was just billing backstory for everybody in the game except Johnny Cage, basically, and doing it in confusing and infuriating ways involving a hell of a lot of teleporting.
Yeah, it's really kind of perplexing how, and I mean, there is an argument to be made that
Yes.
travel sequences in fiction can be boring if they're just literally like the point A to point B part and nothing happens. Right. So in a certain sense, I understand the compulsion to not include it, but so much of this ends up ultimately being, I need to get everybody in the same spot.
Right.
I guess everybody is just going to teleport there somehow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's Jeff Rovin, of course, is to blame for this because he set the story in the woods or the forest, like on a mountain and then on an island. And that's the setting of this book. There's a village, there's a mountain, and there's an island.
The book is written like they did not have the budget for more locations.
Yeah, that's a really, yeah.
Like it doesn't make
I know.
any sense.
There's nothing like imaginative or interesting. It's all just stock shit.
Anything,
right?
With the written word, and
right.
What he opts for. The most audacious thing he does is, I smoke fused two guys together, and that was cool and weird. But that is the absolute upper limit of imagination.
That's it. That's all. That's all, man. That's all, folks. Thanks for listening to the show. Yeah,
I'll let you do the A to B and then we can keep going, but I'll let you actually say the thing.
Just to touch on what you were saying, like Conquest did not have a great budget, right? But it had a lively city with interesting things in it that we got to explore, like future seers and temples underground with Noob Saibot oil monsters and Kriya hives that like these big honeycomb things, and fucking the cobalt mines, which was an awesome set that ruled, even though we only ever saw like small parts of it at once. They didn't have a fucking budget, but like what they did have, which this book is sorely lacking in, is some imagination about the world and the environment.
And it's weird because I would say the book gestures towards stuff that seems interesting and then sort of leaves it alone. Like
You know what the fucking book feels like?
Okay.
Mortal Kombat 2021. It feels like the new movie.
Okay.
It feels like it. It's just everything is sparse and barren and stock and like trying too hard to make this fantastical stuff exist in a real world.
Yeah.
Right?
Whereas like I would rather lean harder into like the Scorpion-ish elements of like, so Scorpion is a guy who took over his son's body powered by a god to seek vengeance because he got needlessly brutalized. And I'm like, okay. And he can like, and they can talk to each other telepathically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's interesting.
He's basically Firestorm the Nuclear Man.
Right. People are saying this. He's basically Firestorm the Nuclear Man.
Exactly.
Everybody who knows what that is saying that.
7 people listening to this know what I'm talking about. And that's only because there's like 10 people listening to this.
Good for them.
All right. Should we? Yeah. So I'll give the plot synopsis if you'd like. Welcome to the Neil corner.
It's just the N is capitalized in corner.
Exactly. That's fun. Sorry, this coffee's hitting. So the book, this section of the book, chapter 27 through the end, if I didn't say that already, starts with Liu Kang in that village getting attacked by Sub-Zero, right? What's the village called? Woohoo, I think?
Correct.
Yeah, and Sub-Zero's fighting with like a bow staff that also has a serrated blade that pops out of it, which is
it's covered up with
classic Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
Right. And he also shoots ice out of his face mask, even though in the last
he
chunk
can
of
like
this,
spit ice.
he was shooting it out of, like he had like bracers or something
Like
that let him
Assassin's
do it.
Creed wrist gauntlets.
Right. But now he's spitting it. And he gets described. Remember last time he was described with all this insane gear that just doesn't matter and like a white belt and all of this shit.
Yeah, well, in that it was very much the description of a person who was interested in tactical.
Right.
We're learning more about Jeff Rovin than we are about Mortal Kombat.
The ultimate description of it looked nothing like Sub-Zero, right? He had like a different face mask and everything, like a full silver helmet or something.
Yeah, he was basically dressed like the Stig from Top Gear.
He gets basically described in this to look like Sub-Zero from the game. So he's changed his clothes since we last saw him, right? And I don't know. It's a fight. I'm not going to harp on how I don't think that the fight scenes are in this have been very well written since the Kung Lao
there
Goro
are some of
scene
them,
in the prologue or the beginning.
I can't even visually picture it in my head.
Same here.
Like the geography of the space and like the physicality of like how these people are interacting with one another and like the ways that moves are described. I do not know what I'm supposed to be picturing.
There's sections of this. Jeff Rovin doesn't know what he's doing either, because there's sections of this where he just writes a line that it's like jab, jab, kick, uppercut. Like,
yeah, he literally just lists moves that you would do.
More than once he does that, right? And yeah, anyway, we're not going to go into detail about the fight scenes because there's a bunch of them in this section, unfortunately.
It's mostly fight scenes.
It's a lot of fight scenes. But, there's that guy Chin there, right? Who was almost killed by Kano's goons, but then Raiden saved him with a lightning bolt. But they don't know that Raiden saved him. And I didn't realize until this that Liu Kang didn't know who Raiden fucking was. They'll meet later. But I don't know. During this fight, Liu Kang awakens his arcana and is able to shoot fireballs.
Fucking basically. Wow. Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, he's able to shoot fireballs at Sub-Zero, which is enough to make...
Damn it. We just read the Mortal Kombat movie again. Fuck.
It really is. I would not be surprised if like, I can't pull the names, the writers of the movie like have read this book. Okay. And they were like, this tonally, we're going to go for this. But yeah, he shoots some fireballs and I don't know. It's enough to make Sub-Zero run off for now. So then Liu Kang's like, hey, Chin Chin, are you okay? All right, sick, tight. I'm gonna go after my partner, Sonya Blade. My other guys are dead. They got garroted. I'm gonna go save Sonya Blade. I can't read her signal. She's no longer within 100 miles, and that is because Shang Tsung has teleported.
That is because she is in another realm.
Because when we last saw Shang Tsung, he had Goro there, right? And they were confronting Raiden and Kung Lao, or sorry, they called him, here's another fuck up in the book. They called him Kano Lao originally, the fused Kano Kung Lao smoke being.
And then they do a Kung Kano or a Kano Kung.
And they did that last time too, but they're sticking with the Kano Kung, I think, or Kung Kano. They're sticking with that. It doesn't fucking matter. God. Honestly, nothing's mattered less.
Maybe ever.
Anyway, he's like, I have business to attend to, and he teleports back to his island with Sonya, and he takes someone else. I don't fucking know. But it leaves Raiden facing off against Goro, and also Reptile is there, which was nice, right?
I mean,
Reptile's
sure.
just... I mean, I like when Reptile shows up, and I do like classic Reptile when he was, Shang Tsung's or Shao Kahn's bodyguard, rather, and he's all dripping acid and stuff. And then there's a bunch of, like, terrible banter as Goro and Raiden fight.
It is particularly notable. And I mean, forgive me, I did not write down a lot of particular dialogue pieces, and I'm not interested in going to find them. But it is striking how poorly a lot of the the stuff that I read as being meant to keep a kid's attention while reading is written. Like the quips and one-liners and like the fight sequences and the stuff that is ostensibly supposed to carry a kid through the plot parts is like handily the least interesting and worst written portions.
There's some dialogue here. It's important. I don't want to gloss over this. Shang Tsung does reveal that he knows who Sonya is, right? Sonya mentions that the special forces has targeted him at the request of the British government in Hong Kong, but she came here to get Kano, of course, right? Because Kano didn't kill her partner, he killed her fiance, Cliff LaDolce.
Which is such a good name. Look, I might talk a bunch of shit today, but like that is such a good name.
Yeah, important name. Everyone knows. I mean, I don't even know why we're talking about it, right? Because everybody knows that the reason Sonya Blade hates Kano is because he killed her fiance, Cliff LaDolce, right?
Fuck, that name is awesome, dude. Cliff La Dolce Vita.
And they're like, no, it wasn't Kano who killed him. It was Crimmins and Shamaboa took out Cliff LaDolce with help from Pete and Jesse.
God, it's so good.
Anyway, he's like, I need you for a sacrifice. I'm taking you back to my island. He pops out of there. Raiden is fighting Goro and Reptile in an incomprehensible fight scene. Right. They say things in this like, here's some of that witty dialogue. They're like, immortals can't die, but they can still be killed, Thunder God. Right. And it's like, well, what's the difference? How can he be killed if he can't die? Right. Those are synonyms.
It doesn't matter. Sounds like this
book
has
a reptile dysfunction.
But yeah, they fight, they fuck around and fight. And then I forget who shows up first. I think Liu Kang shows up, right? Liu Kang shows up and he's like, hey, who are you? And Raiden's like, I'm Raiden. And Liu Kang's like, I'm Liu Kang. I'm looking for Sonya.
And he's like, fuck.
Let's fight. I've got these fire powers now that I'm not going to use this time in the battle for some reason. And the fight goes on. And then fucking Sub-Zero shows up and freezes both of them.
And then the bad guys have a conversation where basically like, so yeah, Sub-Zero shows up, freezes everybody instantly, and then he just goes, yeah, so I'm Sub-Zero, I freeze guys. So you guys were fighting them? And then Goro and Reptile are like, yeah. And then he's like, well,
I'm working for Shang Tsung.
I'm working for Shang Tsung. If you guys want, they're gonna thaw, but you can kill them, and I'm just gonna go keep doing what I was doing. And everybody just sort of goes, okay.
Yeah, he's kind of like, I'm going to kill Liu Kang. Liu Kang's my guy, right? You guys can kill the other one.
Yeah, he's like, I've got other things to do, but.
And by the way, even though they're frozen, they can hear everything we're saying and see everything we're saying.
They're not dead. They just can't move.
Yeah, and it's going to wear off soon. All right. So let's get this show on the road. And then, bam, dude, 2 fucking spears, harpoons fly through the woods, right? Hook Raiden and Liu Kang, frozen Raiden Liu Kang between the legs and pull them back out of harm's way because Scorpion is here. Just here. Just got here somehow. Just knew exactly where to fucking go.
Scorpion arrives.
Scorpion, I guess it makes sense because he's protected by the god Yu, and Scorpion does have teleporting powers, right? Or the demigod Yu, I think. Keep coming up with things that just matter less and less. He can teleport, which he moves through like purgatory basically to teleport, which I did think was a kind of a sick.
The black aura. So the red
detail.
aura is Outworld. The black aura is like Limbo.
Yes.
And then there's like whatever color the good guy aura was. I don't remember.
Blue, I think.
Blue, maybe.
It sounds.
Yeah. If we both think it's blue, then it's probably blue.
It's likely blue, but we're not gonna find the page where it explains it. And now Scorpion's here, and he's like, "I'm Scorpion. I came for Sub-Zero," and now it's 3-on-3, right?
And then Sub-Zero's like, "Bitch, who asked?" Basically, is how he responds to that. He's like, "Oh, okay, so I have to fight you now?"
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, you killed an unarmed man," and he's like, I guess he was like,
Sub-Zero literally goes, "And what are you, his son?" And he goes, "Yeah,
yeah, that's my dad. He's in here too." So he does Scorpion before Liu Kang and Raiden join him a fight. The bad guys are all like, it's 3-on-1, and he's like, the same number of men you needed to beat an unarmed toll booth taker, right? Some real, again, just really, because as a reminder, everybody, young Park's dad, or Choi Park's dad, Young Park, was a toll booth taker who left the Lin Kuei, and then Sub-Zero came and killed him after like 20 years or something. That's the Scorpion origin in this. The most interesting thing that is the least explored in this novel. Meanwhile, what happened? Kano Kung found the amulet and like
finds the amulet, teleports back down, has the amulet.
They split, right? Now
you're correct. They split in twain. Kano brings the amulet back.
Yeah.
Kung Lao is like, oh fuck, I'm all fucked up from being inside Kano. All my shit's all fucked up, and tries to go home to the temple.
Oh no, he's up on so on the top of this mountain is Raiden's temple, and that's where he's hanging out. There's so many travel logistics that are just fucked up in this. This whole story takes place in a day. This whole fucking book, like aside from the beginning, they literally say later in the book, like, what a day, right? And it's like, okay,
boy, what a rambunctious 8 hours. Glad to clock in for my shift at the Mortal Kombat factory.
I lose track of what happens to Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero's not really there at the end, is he?
No.
Sub-Zero, I think
not at all, actually.
That's what happens, right? When Scorpion's gonna fuck up Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero's like throws a smoke bomb, and he's like, I'm out of here. And then Goro and Reptile also run off because they don't like their odds anymore. Because with Sub-Zero gone, it would be 3-on-2, and they don't like that.
Even though one of them is Goro.
Even though one of them is fucking Goro, who has just turned into a big giant wuss in this last part of the novel. But they get teleported back when that smoke bomb drops. Also back to Shang Tsung's island, whose name I'm not going to remember. Shimura Island. I remembered it. And Kano, however, gets dropped off on the beach because we learn that, like everything else Shang Tsung does, teleporting people with his red lightning costs him more and more of his soul. And in one part in this book, he goes from having 0 soul left to suddenly still having some soul because it's a sloppy written book. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all.
No, but like he's literally like at the end, like crawling for like can't even move. And then later on when the shit's like when the fortress is collapsing and shit, he's like suddenly running. So then the core 3, as we call them, Liu Kang, Scorpion, and Raiden, they're like, they travel to the top of the mountain and they walk, even though 2 of them can teleport because they don't want to leave Liu Kang behind. They find Kung Lao. He's been nursing himself back with like a fire and stuff. And he's like, hey, bad news, guys. Kano got the amulet. And Raiden's like, oh, fuck, Scorpion, we got to go stop him. And Scorpion's like, no, I have my own mission. And Raiden's like, please. And he's like, okay, I will help you. And Raiden and Scorpion teleport to Shang Tsung's island.
And then Liu Kang goes, what the fuck? We have to walk because they can just teleport places?
We have to walk down from the top of this mountain to a boat to take that to the island.
To which Kung Lao goes, yeah, we're going to walk.
Yeah. One of them can barely walk, by the way.
And it's not the one complaining.
Yeah. I don't even remember how they get to the island, and I don't think it matters.
It doesn't at all.
Right.
Yeah, no, that shit does not matter. But no, I think I'm jumping ahead too much by bringing this next thing up.
Yeah, bring it up. Who
I
fucking cares?
I think I've actually lost track of it completely, to be perfectly honest with you.
No worries. Meanwhile, Kano is like, I wonder why I didn't get teleported all the way to the island, but I'll take this strange boat, and on the way, I'm going to imagine all the ways I can fuck Shang Tsung over now that I have the amulet. Gets to the island and does that. Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he goes to try to like strong arm Shang Tsung, and then Shang Tsung's like, you fucking idiot, you fucking buffoon, you fucking fool. No. I guess the thing that we have overlooked is that Sonya got kidnapped and taken to Shang Tsung's island.
Yeah, good time to talk about that now.
She has been put on an altar to be sacrificed in honor of Shang Tsung's pigeon friend,
Yeah.
Hamachi.
Hamachi.
And the priest doing the murdering, in theory, is for no real reason Baraka.
Baraka is in this book, everybody. They saved the best for last.
Briefly.
This is kind of... No, it's not, because there's that Baraka miniseries, right? Or the Baraka one-shot that we did with Dominic from the Malibu comics. I was going to say, is this the first real Baraka content we've gotten? It's the second. And he doesn't do much in this, but it is nice to see him, right? And this kind of shows that this book was really written, even though it's a prequel to Mortal Kombat 1, it's also out there to kind of start hyping up Mortal Kombat 2, which it will do at the end of the book in the most egregious way possible. Get ready to do a dramatic reading of that, Corey.
What page is that on?
The last page.
Oh, right. Yeah. I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, Baraka's there, and I don't know how she escapes, but somehow like all these shadow priests are holding her down on this altar, but she's able to like kick and backflip her way through and like kick
that
the
is
cage with
maybe
the pigeon.
the least understandable description of every physical thing he describes.
I had no
Is
fucking
somehow
idea.
she goes from lying completely flat and being held down by dozens of people to like crafting leverage, moving her legs around to like not only be able to move but like split kick, fucking knock people. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
was
nonsense.
But it was serious. Like, look, Sonya's got all this athletic gymnast ability, and I got to squeeze this into the book still. It was nice to see her fight and kick a lot of ass, right? Because I would expect Jeff Rovin to underserve the literally only female character in this novel. I guess outside of Aunt Chen, but I don't even think he had a conversation with Aunt Chen in the prequel or in the part one.
The book.
Yeah, the novel. Show some respect. It's an original novel.
It's a novelization.
Wait, no, it's not a
It's actually
novelization. It's not.
We just kept calling it that. It's actually not that at all.
It's a Jeff Rovin novel. It's not the movie novelization.
Is there a novelization
Of this? No, this is it.
No. Well, yeah, I mean, is there a novelization of the movie?
Yeah, we did it on the show.
I just didn't read it.
The 95 movie. Yeah, you just didn't read it. I just told you.
Right.
That's where Pete, Jesse, Crimmins, and Shamaboa came
Yeah,
from.
of course. I just got a little bit. Yeah, of course.
Look, we've been
the
doing
big
this.
three. The big three of
The
Pete
big
Crimmins
three.
and Shamaba.
We've been doing the show for a long time, and I think that was still in year one of the show. So like, it's okay.
It was early.
Yeah.
Although in hindsight, the experience of reading this book does make me wish I had sort of gotten like Crimmins direct. If you know what I mean.
I did make the claim that this out of the three books, the two movie novelizations and this was the best written in my opinion.
There's no way.
I think I'm that was after part one. I think I'm walking that back, guys.
Part one is the best part of this book.
Part one is the best part of this book.
It's the most like put together.
Yeah.
And like feels like he had a plan.
He spent the most time on that, and it was the most interesting story in this book also, and it still wasn't great. It was just better than the other, but I think I'm walking that back. I don't know. I'll read the other two next weekend and figure it out.
You don't need to do that.
I might do it for fun. I won't do it for fun. They're all going in a box. All of them. Every book I own. I'm not reading anything anymore. All right, so Sonya escapes, and we don't really catch up with what she's been up to until later, because in the meantime, all of the heroes have arrived here. Kano's trying to like get the information out of Shang Tsung on how to use the amulet, because he has the amulet and he's wearing it, and he feels stronger when he wears it. But as we'll learn, that's kind of a
so the thing I was going to mention earlier that I don't want to jump the
effect.
gun on, but I guess I will just say it because we may as well just... I think this level of dramatic irony for the listener is interesting. The amulet doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Yes and no, right? It is kind of like the amulet makes you believe in yourself situation.
Right, but
I think...
undercuts the entire...
Yeah. Go ahead.
So if the amulet only makes you believe in yourself, why did the great Kung Lao lose?
Because I think the amulet only makes you... I think there is some amplification of your ability if your beliefs are just. Is kind of what Raiden disguised as the beggar says at the end, right?
Right. So, but like, so functionally, the thing that we've spent this whole book chasing does not matter to the final confrontation at all.
Right. I'm trying to explain it here in a way that like kind of tracks and makes sense about why it would have made Kung Lao maybe better at fighting because he really believed in himself. But it also doesn't matter. It feels like a cop out. It's shitty. It feels like
it is a cop out. It feels stupid.
It's
like,
dumb.
It just more than anything, it just feels stupid to be like. Actually, the secret was not listening to the radio and believing in yourself. And you're like, what the fuck?
The secret is turning off the idiot box.
Dumbass.
Yeah, it's not clear, and I don't think it's supposed to be clear, and it feels like he shoved that in to be like, see, the great Kung Lao actually was a good fighter, and he wasn't basically cheating in Mortal Kombat by using magic, but also he might have also still been basically cheating in Mortal Kombat by using magic. Like, not that magic's outlawed, but like, you know, like maybe it wasn't all his ability, but also
doing something.
But also it was all his ability, and the amulet just made him believe in his ability, and it's.
But like the great Kung Lao wouldn't stop believing in himself without the amulet. He spends that whole opening segment continuing to believe in himself.
Yeah, until he faces Goro and he's like, fuck, I should have brought my amulet. I can't believe I didn't bring my amulet. I am totally fucked in this fight without my amulet. So if it is like, he should have known the truth about the amulet, and it sucks, dude. It is extremely 1995 Frosted Flakes commercial.
Yes.
What I mean by that is it's just so much like believe in yourself and have a good breakfast, and there's nothing you can't do. I hate it. And it makes the whole fucking novel pointless because the whole story is about Shang Tsung trying to get this goddamn amulet.
That's more, I guess that's my greater point as well, which is like, it's annoying as a reader, especially when like this culminates in we got everybody in the same spot, and then there's no super meaningful final confrontation, and they all just agree to come back and handle it later, which makes it frustrating to realize that the MacGuffin also didn't really matter functionally.
Yeah.
Like that was literally just needed an excuse to get everybody somewhere.
J.J. Abrams did read this book, and that's how he got the idea for the magic box, though.
The magic box?
You know, his thing about the magic box, like, don't reveal all of the stuff to your list. Like, that's why he has so many MacGuffins and unexplained things in his shit, because he's just like it's more interesting to the viewer. The classic example is Mission Impossible 3, where they're trying to track down this deadly weapon called the rabbit's foot, and they get the rabbit's foot, and they're trying to stop the other guy from getting the rabbit's foot, and it's never once explained what the rabbit's foot is or what it does or what it looks like to the point where, like, I think there's a scene where everyone looks at the file on the rabbit's foot weapon, and they're like, oh my God, we cannot let Philip Seymour Hoffman get this weapon. But the viewer is never told what the weapon is or what it does.
Interesting.
In the entire fucking movie, it's just it's the definition of a MacGuffin, right? It's the reason, that's it. There's nothing else.
How else do we
it.
get Tom Cruise to jump out of this plane?
I think this is the one where he swung from one giant building to another building.
I was not trying to make a direct reference because I've only seen a couple of those, so it was just more like he does do that in those movies.
Yeah, he does.
Close enough kind of thing.
Anyway,
a bunch of boring shit continues to happen.
The amulet doesn't do shit, and like Kano's like, oh fuck, if I can't use me amulet, what
Kano's
am I doing here?
In for a penny, in for a pound, I guess, but I guess I fucked up. He's written very Australian for a Japanese American guy, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he's literally writing like punctuation slang into the sentence that I can only read in an Australian accent.
Same here. Yeah. I don't know how else we're supposed to read it. And I do kind of wonder if like he forgot, like if this came out post movie, I don't know. And I'm not looking it up. If he was like, because, there was 4 months after the movie came out that he could have gotten this on shelves, and he spent a weekend writing this. Let's be honest. He might have gone back and like just forgotten to like change the Asian Japanese or the Japanese American heritage to Australian. But whatever.
Could be. In any case, so yeah, they're like, oh fuck, this isn't great in it, Gov. And then from there,
Shang, tell me how to use this amulet, and she'll be apples again.
I mean, we're not here to fuck spiders, are we?
He stays botting because he wants to fight Sonya and not spiders. But where this essentially develops is they think they were right on the cusp of winning because they have the amulet, and then they realize they're kind of not. But everybody is converging on Shang Tsung's island anyway. So he's like, okay, I guess I'll just kill everybody and get souls, and
Right.
everybody can come through. Except that, so Sonya escapes,
Yeah.
and then Sonya goes to the Outworld portal room,
Yes.
and Kung Lao arrives in the Outworld portal room.
Yeah.
And he does this weird bait and switch kind of thing
Okay.
where he's like, they're like, my demon friend is dying. Let me help him.
Yeah. All right, we gotta dig into that a little bit. As a reminder, first of all, somehow this island is littered with outworld monsters, which is one thing I really didn't like. I really did like. I like that he's talking about like people with deer heads and reptile heads and all of this kind of shit. That reminded me of stuff that was cut from the movie that was in the novelization about like giant ant monsters or like human-sized ant monsters and weird monsters that they fight. It's cool and I enjoy it. But the way this portal thing works is there is a circle of protection around it, right? That cannot be broken. And
Yes.
inside is Ruthe, and Ruthe is the
Who
tether.
just sits there for 5 centuries or whatever.
For 1,000,000 centuries. 15, I think. 14? Doesn't matter.
Something between 5 and 15 centuries.
Yeah, and he has to stay inside that circle. If he comes out of that circle, he's going to like start dying because he can't exist in Earthrealm for some reason, but he's like the tether to keep the portal open, and other stuff that comes through the portal totally can stay in this realm. I guess just because Ruthe is the magic anchor or whatever, right? So what Sonya does is she comes in and she just like breaks the circle and roundhouse kicks the fuck out of Ruthe or something.
And Shang Tsung's like, what the fuck?
He's all
we
like,
agreed. Leave him alone.
and because
Nobody was fucking with my boy like that.
they call him, I forget how they describe him, that he's parchment skinned and he's kind of like
It's horrible sounding.
he's kind of plump but small. I don't know how to explain it.
It's sort of like a fucked up paper dog.
Hey, Ruthe is a cameo fighter in Mortal Kombat 1. Come on, Ed Boon. But he's all deformed because his reality has been broken. The circle's been broken, so he's all like elongated and he's dying, and Shang Tsung is in there. Again, Shang Tsung at this point can't even fucking move, barely, and he's cradling Ruthe as he's dying, and Kung Lao comes in and he's like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, your friend Sonya Blade beat up my
Kicked my friend's ass.
Beat up my paper dog, and he's dying. And meanwhile, Sonya is absolutely beating the shit out of Kano, right? Like, she roundhouse kicks him up against the wall like 7 times in the description of this, kicking him in the face. He's spitting out teeth and blood. Nice to see, honestly. But Kung Lao comes in and he's like, I'll save his life. It's my job as
I am obligated to be
obligated.
Pious and pure-hearted.
I'm a priest and I
And
can't let
Shang
anything
Tsung goes,
die.
nice, you fucking idiot. Yeah,
Yeah.
save my friend, dumbass, you fucking idiot.
And Kung Lao's like, I'm well versed in magic, but I'm unfamiliar with outworld magic or whatever. Tell me what to do and what to say. And Shang Tsung's like, you got to say shit like, please, portal, take me to the realm or whatever.
Oh, wait, let me find that.
While you're looking for that,
because it's stupid.
I will say, in the meantime, Scorpion, Liu Kang, and Raiden are in the courtyard just fighting hundreds of outworld monsters, including Goro and Reptile. And everyone's just like out in this courtyard in front of the temple fighting, right? You'd think like they could have all gone to the island, and Shang Tsung could have been like, now that you're all here, we must fight in Mortal Kombat, and like organized a tournament real quick to get his souls, real good.
And so,
But,
while that's happening, Shang is like, yeah, okay, say this. To the land beyond, beyond, I wish to go, from the dismal world of this and now, to the timeless realm where chaos is order, where darkness is light and demons dwell. Open your arms, Lord of the nether reaches, to embrace your subject. Hear my prayer. And he goes, yeah, just say that. You're going to save my boy and everything's fine.
Yeah.
And then Kung Lao, says that he says that, and then Shang goes, haha, you fucking dumbass. You have just opened the portal to get souls through it to do my master plan. And then Kung Lao goes,
100,000
haha, you
troops.
fucking dumbass. No, I didn't. You see, I understand ancient mysticism,
Yes.
and therefore I knew that if I said that shit backwards, it would turn the portal into a vacuum and suck out all the demons and send them back to hell.
Shang Tsung, you absolute dipshit. I got you, motherfucker.
You fucking nerd.
And it works. And it works in, honestly, I think, a pretty cool way. This is the one thing in this part of the book I was like, this is kind of sick. The portal starts drawing things in, but there's no direct path between the two, like between the portal and the courtyard where all of the outworld monsters are.
Yeah, and
So
I was like,
it's just
there is a neat visual here.
Yeah. So it's just sucking them in the most direct path, which is like through a wall. So they all just are getting pulled back and like hammering the walls of the temple until it starts to break and they start to get pulled through. Many of them like splattering and dying as it happens. It's kind of metal. Everyone's just like literally getting pulled through stone. But Shang Tsung's like, no. And he's like, Goro, quick, grab Liu Kang or Kung Lao or whoever and drag them through with you and it'll open the portal. And then that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. And everyone, like almost everyone gets sucked through. I feel like Goro and Reptile get left behind somehow. I don't know. It's not clear. It's just because they're characters who are present in Mortal Kombat, so they can't be back on the Outworld side for there to be a video game.
Yeah, it was just everybody just sort of says, well, wait. Everybody important, stay here.
Now, while Kung Lao was talking with Shang Tsung about saving Ruth A, who I believe did get saved.
Yeah, he goes to hell, but like,
yeah, well, it's home to him. He wanted to go back, right? Sonya, like, who was absolutely wrecking Kano, stopped that fight to be like, no, Kung Lao, what are you doing? This is his plan. He's trapping you. And Kung Lao's just like ignores her. I mean, obviously, because he's got a plan, right? But it's just one of those like miscommunication, like shitty things that allows Kano the ability to escape, you know?
yeah.
And she could have like, I mean, she had him on the ropes. He was almost dead. She could have just like snapped his neck with her ankles doing that Sonya, you know, handstand flip and then gone over there and been like, the fuck are you doing? Right. But no, we have to let Kano escape. Otherwise he won't be in the video game, you know? I just hate shit like that. I know it's necessary when you're doing media tie-ins, right? You don't get to take big swings where you like kill off major characters, but I'm always aware of like they have to like write these instances where people are almost dead or almost in peril, but you know they're going to make it out of it because they're in the fucking video game. It's just dumb.
It is dumb.
The book's basically over at this point, right? Like Shang Tsung's like, oh fuck, you my plan failed, but I will succeed again. I will see all of you at Mortal Kombat, and they're all like, yeah, we'll be there, sure. Yeah, this was fun. Like, we're definitely going to come back for this.
Yeah. So
You know?
can I read the final line?
Not
Can we jump to that or
no, not yet. Because
have we said the final line on the show? Did we do that or no?
No, we didn't. I had you read it last time, but we didn't say it. No. Just the last bit of like cleanup, right? They go back to the Woohoo village. I hate that I said it that way. They go back to the village of Woohoo. All right. And everyone's throwing bones at them as a celebration that they're back because that's apparently a Chinese custom. That
Unfortunately, we're gonna have to take Jeff Rovin's word for it.
the reason they throw bones is because they want it's symbolic of your own bones being buried in this village, as in like, we hope you stay here forever. I guess that was my reading of it. I'm sorry if that's not entirely accurate. Apologies to our Chinese listeners. And then Raiden's like, it is time for me to select a new acolyte for the Order of Light. Chin Chin, I saw your bravery as you stood up against Kano's men. I have chosen you. And Chin Chin's like, what? Me? You know, everybody's favorite Mortal Kombat character, Chin Chin, right? He's
Yeah,
like, why?
everybody's favorite Mortal Kombat character, Chin Chin, the shepherd, whose immediate response is, I have a job, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's going to watch my flock? And then a stranger new to the town, his face
Like, falls from the sky,
masked in
basically.
shadow
And it's like, I guess
says,
I'll do it.
I will watch your flock. I am new to town. My name is Sammo Hung.
Ugh.
And they're like, great, settled. Chin Chin,
You're not funny, Jeff.
Come to the temple, right, and be my acolyte. And Scorpion's in the village, and he's like, that guy looks so suspiciously familiar. I think I'm going to stick around to keep an eye on him. You know, ninjas are masters of disguise. It's Sub-Zero. Like, that's the implication, is that it's Sub-Zero. He's still around. And now, for some reason, he's posing as a villager in this town.
And providing, like, insightful knowledge to Chin Chin about the nature of the amulet.
Right. No, that wasn't him. That was Raiden as the beggar back in disguise, I believe, because they say he has golden eyes.
Right? Oh, they both? Oh, right. No, I thought that person was the guy who said that he would take the flock.
No, it was Raiden.
I thought that was just one guy.
And I might be wrong. It may not have been Raiden who was like, I have chosen you, Chin Chin. I think it was Kung Lao who was like, Chin Chin, I have chosen you. You will study under me. It was Kung Lao. And then Raiden's just like hanging out in the crowd as a beggar. And he's
I think
the
confusion that I made is conflating Raiden with being the person who said that they would take the other sheep or whatever.
In our defense, both of us independently at this point in the novel were clearly just trying to get through it.
Yes.
So
unequivocally, yes.
Yeah. So sorry to mix up some of those details. We got it squared away anyway. But yeah, that was Raiden because Raiden was also dressed as a beggar when he was talking to Wang, right? At the beginning to Great Kung Lao's father, and Great Kung Lao like remembered seeing a beggar hanging out with his dad, and they were talking about balance in the universe and all that kind of shit. That was before Wang's dad blew himself up with black powder. Remember that? That was
in
fun.
A cool way.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. And then Sonya and Liu Kang, as we discussed, are kind of like, man, fucking kids watching television these days, it's ruining society. You can't say anything anymore. Everyone's so politically correct.
The argument is like, it's so quaint that this small village loves their priest. Not like us, we all love talk show hosts and radio commentators.
Not like us, who worship Jeff Bezos, the almighty.
It really does feel like a shot at Rush Limbaugh.
It does, yeah.
Which is weird, considering who Jeff Rovin is.
It was a direct shot at Sean Hannity that they then had to address when Jeff Rovin went on his show.
It's a direct shot at Howard Stern.
Yeah, and they're like, all right, come on, let's go. They say something like shitty, like let's get a McQuail and fries, or like what do they like something about
Who
like the
gives a
local
shit?
food.
I don't even care to look it up.
And Liu Kang's like, and Sonya's like, you're buying, right? Haha, and they walk off with their arms around each other, because we all know that Sonya and Liu Kang in the first Mortal Kombat tournament were special forces partners together. We do get a Jackson Briggs name drop, which was nice to see. It would have been nicer to see him in the novel in that role instead of Liu Kang, and Liu Kang could have done some Liu Kang shit. But now we're back at the end. We're at the actual end of the novel where Shang Tsung is somehow, I don't know how, and I don't care. Or no, Shang Tsung's not even communicating with Shao Kahn. This is just Ruthei back in Outworld communicating with Shao Kahn, talking to Shao Kahn about everything and how Shang Tsung fucked up and all of this kind of stuff, right?
And then he's like, Ruthei, you fucking idiot. He wanted the amulet to take over the world, not help me.
Yeah.
And whatever.
So I'm going to set you up for this, and then you're going to deliver the final line.
I'm nervous.
Ruthei backed away from the throne, still bowing. A most reasonable and sane course of action, your godliness, he said. Although I must confess, mighty ruler of the Outworld, I would look forward to such a contest. Shao Kahn's ferocious teeth were visible as his mouth pulled into a smile.
Ruthei, I look forward to such a Mortal Kombat 2.
TOO. Last line of the book.
I had a hard time saying that in a deep voice because I was smiling really wide because it's a really dumb line that makes me laugh, and I was trying to do like the Shao Kahn smile, but it makes it hard to talk. Birthday! Mortal Kombat 2!
Everything just setting up for Mortal Kombat, right?
Or is it but what's annoying is that you'd think it would be setting up for Mortal Kombat 2, but it's setting up for Mortal Kombat 1 as well.
Yeah, Ruthei's just talking to him about like, well, now everyone's going to come to Mortal Kombat. It's going to be fine. That's the new plan.
Yeah, they fucked up a lot along the way.
It's not clear. Yeah, it's not clear if it's Okay, is this so? It's a joke about Mortal Kombat 2 again. This book setting up that the sequel was coming out because it was 1995 or was out. I'm not looking it up, guys. I'm sorry. That's not the kind of Mortal Kombat show we are anymore, at least.
One that uses Google.
Bing. We use Bing. Even though Bing keeps trying to get me to use the AI search functions because they didn't like Microsoft bought Chat GPT. I think
That sounds like a Bing problem.
it is. Yeah, I might have to switch.
But what's going to happen to all your Bing points?
Okay, so we're not going to get into all of that. Nobody cares, but like they ain't giving out as many rewards anymore. So I'm not racking up the gift cards like I was. Is Hotbot still a search engine? Alta Vista? Can we go back to any of these? Can we, like, as a society, like, just switch search engines?
I don't know what those are.
They were search engines before Google. Like, I think Hotbot's thing was that it would aggregate search results from all of the other search engines also. So you could just go there and it would basically be like you find anything that way. I don't know, man. Internet used to work different than it does now. But kids today with their internet radio and their podcasts and their streaming video
And their hybrid electric cars. That's the fucking book, people. What do you want us to
Rovin,
say?
that's the
What
Jeff
do you
Rovin
want?
Mortal Kombat novel.
What do you actually want us to say? Huh?
Listen,
What do you want us to say?
I've been cranky this episode a little bit, right? I've been a little bit into... I got some real beefs with this book. One of them is, why did Shang Tsung decide now was the time for him to enact this plan to track down this MacGuffin medallion? He's had centuries to do it since the previous Kung Lao died, right? I guess he hasn't had that many, but he's had enough. But he has to do it now when all of these people are around to fuck up his plan and stop him. And he has to hire Kano because Sub-Zero's unavailable, but then he's able to immediately hire Sub-Zero for a different job. But the fact that he hired Kano has drawn in the special forces and all of that attention. It's all so flimsy, like such flimsy reasons to like jam all of these people together to set up this story. And it doesn't work at all. And it's bad. It's bad. It's poorly thought out. It's poorly explained. It's poorly written. The plans change constantly. Nothing matters. People pop in and out and teleport everywhere. Somehow Liu Kang is able to scale all the way up a mountain, find Kung Lao, scale all the way down the mountain to the beach, get on a boat, ride into the fog of Shimura Island, all in the course of a day. It must not be, Mount Ifukube must not be very tall. That's the only thing I can think of, but it's so tall that the gods live there, so it's also really fucking tall.
It's small but wide.
Nothing makes sense. Oh, here's one fun detail. I did like the idea that Shang Tsung's island, like, you feel like you're going upstairs, but it turns out you're going downstairs. And like when Sonya's chasing Kano, she sees him in front of him, but he turns a corner and suddenly he's behind him and he gets away. So like, I like the weird reality bending stuff but it just barely fucking got
flashes of interest, but mostly it's just sort of killing me.
They barely got touched on, and they were implemented in the same way that I was implementing cameos and character introductions in our Multiverse of Badness special, which was to say, I'm just going to shove this in there and not explain it anymore because who cares? This is just a thing I'm doing on a weekend. It's bad, but also I kind of had some fun reading it. I'm not going to lie.
I think the opening part's the most interesting. I think the back third felt like a slog because you can immediately sense that it's not building to anything.
Yes.
Like, it has to build to something inherently unsatisfying.
Yeah.
Which is we got everybody in the same spot and then they all disperse. And the book really suffers for that.
And the purpose of the thing everyone was chasing in this was designed
was fucking believe in yourself.
Just to put everyone in the same room together and not to actually have any impact on the story or anything at all. Which, like, it's kind of nice that he's like, no, it doesn't really do much because now, we don't have to feel like there's a medallion involved in all this Mortal Kombat stuff. But also, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. It's dumb. I do like visiting the classic Mortal Kombat stuff. I do think there were enough weird ideas in this that it was worth reading. And it wasn't a hard read, you know. I mean,
right. You can just sort of sit down and read it.
All sections of this I read the night before we recorded, and it didn't take me very long. Right. I wasn't watching the clock, but maybe like an hour and a half per 90 odd pages. And that was with me like actually trying to pay attention and fold pages down and mark things to remember, you know. So like you could really read this probably if, you know, as a breezy read in, you know, a Saturday or something. Just
right.
Knock it out, right? But I think unless you really love specifically classic Mortal Kombat stuff, you love the 90s stuff, you love the feel of it, and you love like those characters and the early stuff, then I think it's worth checking out. But if you're a fan of the more modern things, I don't think you're going to like this. It's not going to do anything for you at all. You know, the stories have been told better in so many other places. Right?
Literally every other way that we have really looked at it, it feels like a better, more cohesive edition.
Certainly more worthy of your time. A lot of these other ones.
Yeah.
The only exception maybe being the Malibu comics, but as we talked about, at least those were fucking fun and weird and looked cool and had bright colors and were visually stimulating. I have no idea what the world of the novel looks like.
No idea at all.
None. In my head, I'm filling it in with visuals from other things. That's not even accurate. That's not even fucking accurate. I wasn't picturing Shang Tsung's Island from the movie as Shang Tsung's Island in this. I was just picturing generic, like gray walls and like gray courtyard. You know, the courtyard set from the first Mortal Kombat game. I have no idea what anything in this world looks like, and it's all just bland and stock, which was my main complaint of the Mortal Kombat 21 movie. Everything just looked empty and boring.
Yeah, this world feels not only bland, but it's remarkably small.
It must be, because they were able to like fast travel to all these locations, you know?
Like, it has fewer locations than like an average episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah. The whole book could take place inside Monica and Rachel's apartment from Friends. That was a big ass apartment.
People are saying this.
I'm kind of out of steam. Are you kind of out of steam on this thing?
I am.
Yeah.
That's kind of all I want to say about it.
My final thoughts are, like I said, if you like classic Mortal Kombat stuff, if you just like weird concepts and ideas, it's worth a read. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Really.
Go watch Mortal Kombat Conquest again.
Go watch Mortal Kombat Conquest. Go just look at the Malibu comics. You don't have to read them. Just look at them. Play Shaolin Monks if you want a better version of a similar story, where it's
that's MacGuffin's the game.
Yeah. Well, that's Liu Kang and Kung Lao sort of. It's post Mortal Kombat 1, but it's them gearing up for Mortal Kombat 2 and traveling to different realms and meeting different characters, and it's fun to play. And it's going to be a more fulfilling experience than reading this book.
Well, and it's got a MacGuffin, doesn't it?
Shaolin Monks.
Doesn't it?
The game? No, it's really just them trying to...
What MacGuffin am I thinking of from that era?
The Swords of Ilkan.
Sure.
The MacGuffins you're thinking of are from Deception, and it's the Kamidogu.
Yeah.
We are Mortal Kombat fans. Yeah, there's just better things to do with your time. Read the movie novelization. At least that'll be fun, because it's like an alternate version of the movie, but it's like the director's cut, right? There's weird monsters and shit. And Pete, Jesse, Crimmins, and Shamaboa get name dropped.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad we did it.
Me too.
All right, so I think the next thing we're going to try to do, and I got to talk to our friend Kevin about it, is the More Combat album.
Yes.
Might take some time to get that scheduled. If that's getting too tricky, we might work we might rearrange the schedule. But right now the plan is to try to do the More Combat album next, with an asterisk. We're allowed to shuffle things around.
We've got a small handful of things in the pipeline anyway.
And what I don't want to do is drag this out for a month, like until the next episode comes out. I want to kind of keep things going steady and finish strong, right? So we may shuffle things around, but we will get to that eventually. So look forward to that, everybody. I need to eat some lunch, man. Let's close up shop here.
Yeah, me too.
Corey, what do you got going on?
Honestly, if you just want to go to mortalkombatconquest.ca, it's all there.
All of it. Every single bit of it is there.
My Steam is short on plugs.
We're on social media still, MK Podquest, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find me on social media places at Final Neil. Listen to my alien show, Crew Expendable, with our friend Kenny, where we talk about alien stuff. It's really fun. You can find links there at mortalkombatconquest.ca, finalneil.com also. That's just forwards to my link tree. Settle down, everybody. Once again, our intro and outro song is Ohio Turnpike by Jeff Rosenstock, off the album No Dream, licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share Alike 3.0 United States license. Nailed it. Jeff Rosenstock is over, Corey.
Now we have Jeff Rosenstock stock. Which is me seeing Jeff Rosenstock in about a month and a half or so.
Hell yeah.
With eyes peeled for tatters and tags, flying half-mast like the flag. And through the families, we wait in a quest for a cab. Nobody wishes for the things that they already have. We relive every misstep that we've made in our lives and hoard our scary secrets till they wake us at night. And we think we can't escape from it, but maybe we might if we try to just acknowledge we can do anything right. You know you're the only person that